Hi, I'm Edie Hand, founder of Women of True Grit. You know, I like to tell stories about women that have been through hard things and how they turn them into beautiful situations. Well, today is no different. We have an extraordinary lady that's going to share things that are out of this world. She's an advocate for the workforce development. She's an advocate for the STEM program. And she knows how to do hard things. Take a listen to Dr. Kimberly Robinson at the U.S. Space and Rocket Center.
I am so fortunate that I can say that my very first mentor out of college and coming to NASA was Dr. Jan Davis. 3 times flown NASA astronaut Jan Davis. So, I mean, I really shot for the stars with my first mentor. One thing that I would advise to young women is don't be afraid to ask someone to be your mentor. And you can pick many mentors, and I've had many mentors, both men and women. And they've come into my life at different times in my life and given me words of wisdom for that season. And so that's been really wonderful. So don't be afraid to ask is my advice. When I first started working for NASA, there were very few women. It was difficult to navigate and to know how to advance and how to behave within the cultural norms that were set before us. And so it took a lot of trial and error and seeking wisdom and working really, really hard to prove that I was worthy of the position. And so it's so wonderful now to look back at NASA, and they have so many wonderful women leaders that were not in place when I was first there. So it's come a long way. I had just transferred to a new building, and it was near Halloween. People were dressed up that day, some of them were, and so I had a friend actually visiting me from my hometown in Birmingham. She was up, and I was showing her around, and I was showing her my new office, and all of a sudden, this person comes running down the hall in blue tights and a red cape, and they are Superman. So then I come to find out later who he was and that he worked in this building, and it was the first time we had met or seen each other. And so we had a mutual friend that called and got us together. And at the time, there were lots of young people that had been hired in. It was a big hiring, frenzy there for a while. Anyway, it was just a wonderful time to be there, to be at the front of the culture changing, and to meet all these wonderful young people from colleges and universities all over the country. And then especially to meet someone who would become my partner in life and I've been married to now for 30 years. When I got the call to come here, it really made my career, my crazy quilt of career that I had put together at NASA really makes sense, because so much of it was applicable here at the Space and Rocket Center. And we are so busy right now. We are trying to refresh, reimagine, reinvigorate our entire campus and all of our programs. And so we're in a time of expansion and of just pushing to the next level. And I think it's absolutely appropriate that we're doing this now, because we are now in what I call the second golden age of space exploration. There is more happening in space exploration today than any time before. So while living in the 60s would have been wonderful to be there when we first set foot on the moon, I think today we have the possibility to do even more and to go even further. And so we are trying to personify that and reflect that here at the Space and Rocket Center. You're only down if you stay down. And so the important thing is getting back up. Each and every time life throws you a curveball, and life will throw you a curveball. That's just the nature of living. Don't let that imposter syndrome kind of slowly seep in. You're as good and as smart as anyone else, and you can do it. And there are so many stories in this world that prove it over and over again, that we shouldn't have to convince ourselves too much. It should be there. The proof is in the pudding. If you look around at some of your other women of true grit, you see that it is possible. And so don't listen to those bad voices. Make your own dialogue. My name is Kimberly Robinson, and I am a woman of true grit.
For more inspiring stories like this, visit ediehand.com.